It's time to experience something glorious. Unacademy Combat. Compete, crack, conquer.
A challenging gate contest engineered to give you an experience like none other.
Where you put your knowledge to test
and battle it out with the best.
To bring out the best in you, Unacademy Combat is the most competitive, gamified contest for gate till date, with the best of the questions by best educators.
with detailed video solutions from top educators right after each contest.
Combat live with peers to get real-time rankings and win big.
Participate in every contest to improve your ratings.
Challenging contests every fortnight or alternate Sunday. Live ranking after every question. Big rewards for top rankers. Your passion to crack gate deserves this. Your hard work towards your dream deserves this. Fuel your inner fire for the ultimate gate challenge. Unacademy Combat. Register now.
Good evening. Good evening, students, and welcome to the special class series of ISRO previous papers. So today's class will continue with electromagnetic fields. EMT के question से continue करेंगे. So welcome Rahul, Rajiv, and Mukesh Kumar. Welcome to the class. So Mukesh, ready for the second class on electromagnetics? First class, I taught you a few questions. So we'll go for the second class. Mukesh, as I told you, electromagnetics, EM wave special classes are going on every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I hope Mukesh will be there. And a lot of free content going on this month, ISRO previous year questions. फिर उसके बाद electromagnetics, this is also going to start shortly. This is going to start next week after Diwali in YouTube. उसके बाद, of course, EDC course is going on. One big announcement is this antennas course. ये plan कर रहा हूँ मैं. Gaurav, Srivastava, Abhishek, welcome. Abhishek, are you the one who asked me some doubt about intrinsic impedance? WhatsApp में कुछ डाउट पूछे थे इंट्रिंसिक इम्पीडेंस के बारे में, वही अभिषेक हो? Okay. Antennas plus में I felt there is my responsibility of completing this course exclusively on plus. So ये subscription category में है. Ignite batch में antennas हो चुका है, but I feel एक बार और antennas का course हो सकती है. We can have a better course. So that's why I planned one more course for antennas. This will also shortly start after Diwali. Somewhere around 14th it will be starting. So this will be antennas course, but this will be an purely subscription course. अभी तो subscription में है, so do subscribe with my code. And of course, anytime no mono actually it's after Diwali I'm starting. Not today. Actually I planned a mono. ये जो course है इसी की बात कर रहे हो ना? Mono YouTube I'm starting next Monday. Actually मैंने सोचा था कि शुरू कर दूंगा, but इतने series चल रहे हैं ना, so I thought students will be heavily confused. Already दिवाली का mood आ गया. बच्चों में पता नहीं, लेकिन मेरे अंदर तो दिवाली का माहौल already चल रही है. So moreover एक तो ये series चल रही है अभी EM waves का weekly 3 days वाली. फिर इतने में ISRO का शुरू हुआ. So इतने सीरीज के साथ मुझे लगा कि स्टूडेंट्स आल्सो नीड सम रिलैक्सेशन टाइम, तो ये मैं नेक्स्ट मंडे से शुरू कर रहा हूँ. ओके, थोड़ी एक्चुअली आई स्टार्टेड आल्सो, आई वाज ऑलमोस्ट स्टार्टिंग, आई वाज अबाउट टू स्टार्ट लास्ट मंडे, एंड मॉर्निंग आई इन्फॉर्म देम कि आई विल टेक आफ्टर 1 वीक. एक्चुअली आई वाज ऑलमोस्ट इन द वर्ज ऑफ स्टार्टिंग ऑन मंडे. फिर सुबह 10 बजे को मैंने फोन करके बताया कि आई विल स्टार्ट इट फ्रॉम नेक्स्ट वीक ऑनवर्ड्स. ठीक है, मतलब लेट दिस कोर्सेस गो ऑन. And antennas also, this month of course it's in subscription, but next month in YouTube I'll plan for antennas also. Okay, I'll plan. So anytime you got any doubts you can connect to me. And of course ये सब test series हैं. अभी gate set go ये सब हुआ. I just took analysis on this. ये सब test series हैं. You can log on to all these test series. ये general ads हैं. So पूरे ads होने के बाद अगर आप subject पे आएंगे तो दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग। ये फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है आज का। स्टार्टिंग ऑफ विद द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। कितनी लंबी सी क्वेश्चन है देखो, 1 किलोमीटर का क्वेश्चन है और 1 सेंटीमीटर का आंसर है। सो रीड द क्वेश्चन, टेल मी द आंसर स्टूडेंट्स। क्वेश्चन पढ़ के आंसर बताइए। गौरव, ये जो YouTube वाली सीरीज की बात कर रहे हो ना, वो एक्चुअली बिगिनर्स के लिए है। इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन इलेक्ट्रिकल के जो मासूम मासूम बच्चे हैं, जो इतने दिन EMT पढ़े बिना जिंदगी गुजार रहे थे, जो इधर इधर EMT पढ़ के उसी को EMT मान रहे हैं, उनके लिए है। गौरव, नॉट फॉर यू। या दिस इज फॉर होल EMT। नो, इसरो PYQs is 2 days EMT। कल भी EMT हुआ, आज भी EMT है। Tomorrow it is EDC and day after tomorrow it is microwave। So 2 days EMT, 1 day EDC, day after tomorrow microwave। So आज पूरा EMT है गौरव, today completely EMT only। So गौरव, ये क्वेश्चन समझ में आया? हॉर्न एंटेना का गेन है कुछ, and it is being used to measure the gain of a large directional antenna by comparison method, some method. When the antenna is being measured, when the antenna being measured is connected to the receiver, Mono, hi. Okay, you're my old student. मेरा नंबर, ओके मोनो, मेरा नंबर इस PDF फाइल में है, डाउनलोड कर लो। यू कैन जस्ट डाउनलोड फ्रॉम दिस PDF फाइल आफ्टर द क्लास। ये क्लास के बाद PDF डाउनलोड कर लो तो मेरा नंबर आ जाएगा, ठीक है? नाइस। हाँ, तो कुछ मेजरमेंट चल रही है। एक गेन, standard gain horn antenna has got something like 10. It's being used to measure the gain of a large directional antenna. Where the antenna being measured is connected to the receiver, it is found necessary to insert an attenuator to adjust by 23 dB in order to have the same receiver output that was absorbed by the horn antenna. What is the gain of the antenna? Did you understand the question, students? You have some 10 antenna of gain 10. You already have some antenna, and this is being used to measure something. And just look at the data and try to understand the question. Mukesh, 33 or is it 23? 33 or 23? Right. A standard gain horn antenna of 10 is being used to measure the gain of a large directional antenna by comparison method. That means, look here, there is one antenna and gain of this has to be measured, right? Some large directional antenna. For that, what are we having with it? We are having an horn antenna of gain 10. So हमारे पास क्या है? We have a horn antenna here. Whose gain is 10. Next, when the antenna being measured is connected to the receiver, it is found to be necessary to insert an attenuator to adjust by 23 dB in order to have the same receiver output that is absorbed with the horn antenna. What is the gain of this antenna? Look here. If you replace this with the horn antenna, of 10 dB gain, you also need a 23 dB attenuator. So under the conditions that horn antenna is already 10 dB, you need an attenuator of 23 dB, then is when you get some value here. तभी तो कुछ value आएगा यहाँ पे. So what is the gain of this actual antenna then? The gain of this antenna is the gain of the horn antenna plus the attenuator. Why did we use an attenuator there? Because it's very heavy. So total gain is 10 plus 23, that's 33 dB. So total gain comes to be 33 dB. Mukesh, I hope you understood the question. The attenuator is being used because you can measure only with your gain of 10 dB. So 10 से जो भी ज़्यादा हुआ, you have to put an attenuator. And how much is the attenuator value you are putting? 23 dB. So total कितना हुआ? 33. Got it? Yeah. Look at this. Electric field of a linearly polarized EM wave is given in the x direction. This is incident upon a linearly polarized antenna, which is also linearly polarized, AB linearly polarized, but with AX plus AY. What is the polarization loss factor? Your EM wave, transmitting EM wave is uniform plane wave. As you can see here, e power minus jkz, it's a uniform plane wave. This is a point source. This is some wire antenna. So this is a wire antenna, this is a point source, this is a uniform plane wave. They're asking the polarization loss factor. What is the polarization loss, students? Both are linearly polarized. Do you expect a polarization loss? Both are linearly polarized. Do you expect a polarization loss? Yes, because this is perfectly in x direction and this is not completely in x direction. It's inclined. So therefore, one antenna is perfectly in X, another antenna is in between AX plus AY. So what is your polarization loss factor? It is AX mod dot AX plus AY by root 2 का square. Because polarization loss factor is mod cos theta whole square, where theta is the angle between transmitting field and receiving field. So between the transmitter and receiver angle, you can get it with dot product. So that's what is mod 1 by root 2 whole square. This is half. So polarization factor is, loss factor is half or minus 3 dB. Hope you got it. So both are linearly polarized, lekin still there is a polarization loss factor. Why there is a polarization loss? Because they are inclined. Still, the inclination gives a loss. And it is exactly half because the inclination is 45 degrees. If it is not 45 degrees, it won't be exactly half. It can be anything else. Exactly half. So inclination is 45 degrees. So that's minus 3 dB. Clear? Look at this. Third question. A parabolic reflector antenna is designed to operate at 3 gigahertz and its aperture is 20 feet. And it is designed to build a scale model of this antenna, smaller one. That means you want to reduce the size of the antenna with the largest aperture dimension, or the largest aperture of 20 feet is reduced to 18 inches. What should be your change in frequency so that the pattern is same, so that the properties are not changed? So what should be your frequency change so that the properties are not changed? Its gain is not changed. Same pattern. How do you handle it? Frequency is what they're asking. So the question is this, students. Gain is equals 4 pi by lambda square into capture area. This is gain. So that 4 pi f square by c square into pi r square. This is got to be constant. So f1 square radius 1 square should be equal to f2 square r2 square. That's what the question is. Properties gain has got to be same. So f2 is nothing but f1 r1 by r2. So frequency initially was 3 gigahertz, 20 feet, 1 feet is 12 inches by 18 inches. That's the answer. This is the frequency you need. So from 3 gigahertz, it has to increase to such a large value. So that should be 2 by 3. So should go to 40 gigahertz. I hope it's clear. So when you move on to 40 gigahertz, that's where the same pattern is maintained. Look at this. Antenna's radiation distance is given, loss resistance is given, means efficiency is given. They're asking normal gain given the power gain. So it's all to tell you that power gain is efficiency into directive gain. So the directive gain is power gain by efficiency. So that what is the power gain given? 16. Efficiency is radiation resistance by the total resistance. That's the answer. So given the power gain 16, efficiency from these two, you can get your directivity. So therefore gain or general directivity is 16 into 80 by 72, 9. So that should be the answer. Hope you got it. Look at this one. This is just repetition of the gate question. Just direct repetition of the gate question. Gate 2014 transmission line questions, direct repetition. Especially this part is as it is same. This part exactly same. The only change was this 500 and 1.2 is the only data they have changed from the question. Rest everything, it's exactly the gate 2014 question. So did you understand the question? Arvind Singh, are you there? Abhishek, Gaurav, Arvind, I'm sure he'll be there, Arvind. Because certain frequencies match the way you think, it matches to my thinking, I know it. So the question should have been more direct in telling you that it's a quarter wave transformer. I think it's an impedance matching technique. That's what they mean. And they just mean to say that it is 100 ohm, which matches 250, because 100 is root of 50 into. So this transmission line is a lambda by 4 quarter wave transformer, which is matching this 50 ohm and the 200 ohm. So the final meaning of the question is, the entire meaning of the question is, a 100 ohm lambda by 4 line is being used for impedance matching. But only thing is, if you use it for lambda by 4 for 500 megahertz, you can't use it as lambda by 4 for 1.2 gigahertz. वो लैम्बडा बाय 4 लाइन है किसी एक फ्रीक्वेंसी के लिए, दो फ्रीक्वेंसीज के लिए इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो. So how do you use it for two frequencies then? Simple. Lambda by 4 line का property is 3 lambda by 4 also will satisfy, 5 lambda by 4 also will satisfy, 7 lambda by 4 also will satisfy. कि lambda by 4 plus lambda by 2 के बाद the properties keep repeating. That's the question. So ये जो 100 ohm matching device है, which has to be used for 2 different frequencies, उसका जो लेंथ है the length has got to be equal to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 4, odd multiples of lambda by 4 for 500 megahertz. Same length should also correspond to some more odd multiple of lambda by 4 as 1.2 gigahertz. ये N1 N2 चाहिए मेरे को. So 500 megahertz के लिए भी काम करना चाहिए with its corresponding lambda 1. ये 1.2 के लिए भी काम करना चाहिए for its lambda by 2 or for its lambda 2. So can you tell me how much is lambda 1? It is 3 into 10 power 8 by 5 into 10 power 8, which is 0.6 meters. And how much is lambda 2? 3 into 10 power 8 by 1200. 3 by 12. 1 by 4, which is 0.25 meters. You have to check common odd multiples for lambda 1 and lambda 2. That's where the problem is over. For both this lambda 1 and lambda 2s, you have to find out a common odd multiple. Common odd multiple. Which one is possible in it? Common odd multiple, which one is possible in it? Because if you check very carefully, students, after taking out the lambda by 4s, there should be a common odd multiple. So therefore, the length should always be equal to 2n1 plus 1, 0.6 by 4, 2n2 plus 1, 0.25 by 4. So tell me the possibilities, even checking the options you can check the options also. What could be N1 and N2 values? So if we check out each of the options I have, 1.75, 1.0, I don't think 1.0 is possible because it comes to be an even multiple. Yeah, I think 1.0, it comes to be an even multiple. So that's where you have to check for all the odd multiples in it. You have to check for all the odd multiples in it. So can you check it, students, now and tell me the answer? Did you understand the question? Did you understand the question? Any doubts, anybody? Any questions? That's beautiful, beautiful question as it is taken from GATE. And for the 0.6, if you check 1.75, I think that's very close because this 1.75 is very close, approximately 3 times, which is an odd multiple. And of course, it is for 0.357 times. So this is also an odd multiple. So 1.75 I think is satisfying, which is closely 3 and 7. Both are odd multiples. Both are odd multiples. So that should be option A. 1.3 is even multiple, 0.2, 0.6 into 2. So I don't think other values are suitable. That should be option A. Clear, students? Yeah, look at this. This is from Smith chart. Transmission line is having a characteristic impedance of some Z1 and varying length in series with the load. How does it appear on the Smith chart? If you change your length of this line for a given load and for a given characteristic impedance, how does it appear on the Smith chart? As and as X is varied for any line, how does your Z vary, or how does the Z of X vary? So look at the question, students. There is a line of Z1, characteristic impedance, load ZL, so that it has got some Z of X, which is varied with X. How does it appear on the Smith chart? That means you should know how does the Z of X change affect, or how does the X change affect Z of X. So as soon as X is changing, how does the Z of X change? For that, watch it carefully. Just watch the formula. We know that gamma of any X is equals gamma at the load e power minus j into 2 beta X. That's where the answer is. So gamma of X is equals, means as X is changing, gamma's phase will be changing. Gamma's phase changes. That means whenever you look at a Smith chart and change your length, your gamma's phase will be changing, but nothing else. Gamma's phase will be changing. So as and as X changes, gamma's phase will be changing, means mod gamma is constant. That means VSWR is constant. So any length change on the transmission line does not change your magnitude of gamma, but only changes your phase of gamma. That is what I call it as constant VSWR. That's what you can see here. So on a Smith chart, any change in the length, varying length, with a given load and a given line, changes your phase of the gamma. VSWR does not change. Constant VSWR. I hope you got it. This is the easiest question for today's class. I got only the typical questions in EMTL. Certainly not the easier questions. I got the typical and the best questions. This is of course easy. Magnitude of the input impedance of a lambda by 8 lossless line of 50 ohm when terminated with 25 ohm. Whenever they say lambda by 8, the input impedance formula Zin is Z0 ZL plus JZ0 by Z0 plus JZL. That's so simple. So that the mod Zn, if you take, it is mod Z0 clearly when ZL and Z0 are real. If ZL and Z0 are real, mod when you take it for this, leaves you only with this. This is typical formula for the lambda by 8 line. I think the answer is clear now. It's 50 ohms. 50 ohm line. So answer is very clearly 50 ohm. Look at this. This is better question, slightly quality question. Beta L is given, short circuited, input impedance Zin they're asking, with beta L given, short circuited. Short circuit line, beta L is given. Input impedance Zin they're asking. So what is the beta first for this question? With velocity equal to 0.6 times free space, 0.6 times root mu naught epsilon naught. So that your beta is omega into this velocity. That's what beta is to be calculated first as. So with the velocity of 0.6 and beta equal to omega into root mu epsilon, that's the data here. I think by here. By. So first of all, get your lambda or get your beta, then we'll take a judgment. So lambda is equals frequency 2 megahertz, velocity 0.6, 3 into 10 power 8 by 2 megahertz, 2 into 10 power 6. So that should be 0.3, 100. So should be 90 meters. So first hint is lambda is 90 meters. Don't calculate it 3 into 10 power 8 by 2 into 10 power 6. This is wrong. Any doubts, anybody up to here? Check your calculations. So lambda being 90 meters and 30 meters being your length. So length is clearly lambda by 3. So lambda by 3 line. So beta L, which is 2 pi by lambda into this 2 pi by lambda, length is lambda by 3. It's 2 pi by 3. And short circuit line ZSC, J Z0 tan beta L. That's the answer. Hope you got it. Every question has some sense in this ISRO exam. Input impedance, short circuit line, short circuited, velocity, input impedance, Z0, length, frequency. You got the point? Yeah, look at this. Not a very systematically correct question, but with the given options, it's okay. I mean, not a correct framed question. Sometimes ISRO gives rarely such stupid questions, but okay, given the situation, it's okay. The change in phase of an electromagnetic wave normally incident on perfect conducting wall says change in phase of electric field or magnetic field. That's the first missing data. Change in phase of power, electric field or magnetic field. And from where are you incidenting? That's also not clear. But one thing we know, that reflection coefficient for electric fields is eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 2 plus eta 1. For magnetic fields, it is eta 1 minus eta 2 by eta 1 minus eta 2. So when they say conductor, when eta 2 of a conductor is considered, which is root of j omega mu by sigma, this tends to 0 for a conductor. And eta 1, even if you consider it free space, that's where the logic is. The gamma for the electric fields is 0 minus 120 pi by 0 plus 120 pi. So minus 1. Whereas when it comes to gamma for the magnetic fields, it's plus 1. Yeah. So the question more whether it is electric fields or magnetic fields. Then is when it makes sense. But still, ISRO rarely gives such questions which half-hearted notations. And as a teacher, I will go with 180. I'll go with 180. Because it's mostly understood that gamma formula is eta 2 minus eta 1 by eta 2 plus eta 1, which is mostly by default for the electric field. So I take it for granted that it is for electric fields and it is 180 degrees. You as a student cannot question ISRO, cannot leave this question. You cannot leave the question also, na? You go for 180 degrees. Look at this. In the near field, the radiated wave takes the form of किसके radiated field? Could be some antenna. वो भी नहीं mention नहीं है question में. So when you have an antenna, typically like a dipole, how does its radiated wave look like? Is it spherical? Is it planar? Is it conical or is it cylindrical? considering a dipole antenna, how should it look like? When they said near field, I have a few doubts. If they said far field, I'll just go with cylindrical. Far field bola hota to cylindrical. They said near field. So have a look at it once. When you have a wire antenna like this, the magnetic field forms circles around the wire, and the electric field forms straight lines, making it almost a cylindrical field. So it's almost cylindrical. So antenna का प्लस इधर माइनस इधर. यूनिफॉर्म प्लेन वेव तो नहीं आएगा, but you get a cylindrical pattern. You get a cylindrical field. This is far field. But when they said near field, that's important. When it said near field, you have to consider even these fields, the dipole nature of the fields. So near field, far field, you will take only E theta and H phi. वर्टिकल ई थीटा, हॉरिजॉन्टल एच फाई. फार फील्ड में दोनों काउंट आते हैं. इन नियर फील्ड यू हैव टू कंसीडर ई आर, ई थीटा, एच फाई, ऑल द थ्री. सो इट बिकम्स स्फेरिकल. रेडियल वेक्टर, रेडियल डायरेक्टेड, ये एडजस्ट में भी फील्ड कंसीडर करना जरूरी हो जाती है, विच कैन बी इग्नोर्ड एट फार अवे डिस्टेंस. काफी दूर के बाद इसे इग्नोर कर सकते हैं. सो प्रैक्टिकली स्पीकिंग, एनी डाइपोल्स फील्ड विल बी लाइक दिस. This is the dipole's field, and magnetic field will be around it. At far off places, we can ignore this. इसको ignore कर देते हैं. But shorter, closer, you should not ignore it. So the answer for near field, जब क्वेश्चन में साफ है कि नियर फील्ड, I will go with spherical wave. Surely I'll go with spherical wave. Got it? Look at this last question. A plane wave is traveling in free space and has some pointing vector. What is the average energy density of the wave? For any wave, there is sense when I say power, but asking energy is not very sensible, because it keeps transforming. So power की बात कीजिए तो ठीक है, बट एनर्जी की बात हो रही है. सो इमीडिएट क्वेश्चन कम्स ई एनर्जी और एच एनर्जी. क्योंकि पावर की बात कीजिए तो इट इज ई एंड एच प्रोडक्ट. So nobody will ask you whether it is electric power or magnetic power. You'll say both will give you power. Power दोनों की वजह से आती है. But when it comes to energy, is it electric or magnetic? Mukesh? Anybody? Question में electric calculate करूं कि magnetic calculate करूं? इस क्वेश्चन में पावर जो दिया हुआ है उसके बाद एनर्जी इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का कैलकुलेट करूं कि मैग्नेटिक फील्ड का. बोथ आर इक्वल. मुकेश दोनों का इक्वल है. किसी एक का कैलकुलेट करो तो काफी है. बिकॉज इफ यू नो दैट पावर इज हाफ ई क्रॉस एच कॉन्जुगेट और हाफ ई नॉट स्क्वायर बाई ईटा और हाफ ईटा इंटू एच नॉट स्क्वायर. Remember that energy density, this is power density. तो ऐसा ही energy density जो होती है, it is half epsilon E square, which is also correct if you say half mu h square, because both will be equal. दोनों equal कैसा है? Half epsilon E is nothing but eta into h. फ्री स्पेस में या कहीं भी. सो हाफ एप्सिलन रूट म्यू बाय एप्सिलन so this is the same as this. I hope you got it. So electric and magnetic energies both are equal and they keep transforming and give you power. ये दोनों अपने आप में ट्रांसफॉर्म होते हुए पावर देते हैं. So now I think the problem is over. So if you watch carefully, 3 watts per meter square, half 120 pi E naught square is given to be 3. इससे E naught निकालो, which is root 6 into 120 pi, and apply half epsilon E naught square, which is half 1 by 36 pi into 10 power 9 into 6 into 120 pi. That's why the answer is asked in nano. कुछ nano joules per meter cube में पूछा गया है. This being watts per meter square. So that's where the answer is. 12 and 3 and 12 should give you 3. 3 and 3 pi and pi cancels. I think it's 1 nano. It's 1 nano. That's where the answer is. 1 option C. I hope you got it. So ये जो पावर आती है, it's because of this energy continuously flowing itself from E to H, H to E. So that's where you should understand the electromagnetic wave. Electromagnetic wave mein, you have an energy in the form of E that converts itself into H, which converts itself into E, which converts itself into H, converts itself into E. So है तो वहां पे एक ही एनर्जी E और H, which transforms itself, and this ultimately results in power. When there is energy advancing, so there is an energy which is advancing to give you power. This is what electromagnetic wave is. I hope you got the point, students. Some of the questions on electromagnetic fields in ISRO papers, he discuss karna tha mere ko. So any questions, any doubts, you can ask me now. I'll stay back. Otherwise, you can log out. Quick questions, koi doubts hai to पूछिए. Otherwise, we can log out. Any questions, anybody? So see you shortly in this course of antennas. Subscription course hai. Do subscribe. Or my ADC course is going on, AV subscription mein. Or you can log on to my YouTube classes. You can log on to my special classes. So tomorrow I'll be there with EDC. कल हम लोग EDC की problems करेंगे. And after tomorrow it will be microwave. So good night, students. Take care.